Get through the right morning every day. Every morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, Adelaide's Jody and Hazy on Nova.
Let's talk about Gen Z and how they are consuming significantly less alcohol than previous generations. I guess well done.
It's a good thing.
More for me. So this trend is primarily fueled by a heightened awareness of health, both mental and physical, and a desire to maintain control over their image, especially in the age of social media, which I guess makes a lot of sense because if there were some photos circulating of me back in the day, 18 to 21, oh boy, I could be in jail purely from embarrassment.
Yes, exactly. Let's bring in our resident Gen Zer, Zoe, producer Zoe.
Who's breaking the trend.
If she sounds a bit rusty, it was a solid weekend.
I've never been a follower. I'm not following that trend of not drinking. That was awful.
The whole voice breaking thing
It was perfect.
proves our point beautifully. Well done, Zoe.
That was actually shocking to me. Maybe it's just my circle of friends, but we certainly drink a bit.
Really? So you haven't noticed that?
No, I have, especially on social media. I think that's the big one. It's like how run clubs are the crazy thing now. You know, You're not going out and drinking on a Saturday night because you're getting up at 6 and going for a run on Sunday. Not me, but some of them.
Yeah.
Not Zoe, she's not drinking. She smoked 1,000
I
darts.
did
on the
smoke
weekend.
1,000 darts. I've got
1,000
nodules.
cigarettes.
I've got nudes.
I wish it had been a thing when I was your age, drinking less, because when I was growing up, it was like, God, everyone just went out on a Saturday night and got absolutely written off. And I think the more you read about the harmful effects of alcohol and the more you look into, there's a lot of people my age who are sober curious, they call it, and just want to have a crack at either really cutting back how much you drink or not drinking at all. And I think it's such a good thing because you think about it, I reckon alcohol in a way is like the new cigarettes. Right, so cigarettes were sold as glamorous, and to have a good time, you have to have cigarettes. And
Jimmy Dean.
but I think the same could be said of alcohol. So you think about advertising and everything we're fed. To have a good time, you have to have alcohol, and I don't think that's necessarily the case.
Yeah, I think as well, my generation definitely don't drink at home.
Yeah.
I can't speak for everyone, but like I would never just have a bottle of wine at home.
Yeah.
Like, for during the week or whatever. So maybe the drinking less is just really going for it once every 2 weeks.
I think the drinking at home during the week comes with parenthood, don't you reckon? With the stresses of having children.
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely. Link parenthood with alcoholism for sure. There's an increasing demand for non-alcoholic and low-alcohol beverages, leading both established brands and new companies to explore and innovate in the growing market. I'm going to be honest with you. When I first saw of a non-alcoholic beer coming out, I thought it was a piss take.
I still think
really?
I thought it was
I
a
still
joke.
think it is.
You thought, what's the point?
What's going on? Because I remember saying to my dad years and years ago, I remember saying, oh, gosh, I love beer. And he said, it was very wise. He said, well, would you like it if it didn't make you drunk?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, gosh. He's like, if there was no alcohol in it, would you choose beer?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that gets you thinking.
So you would never go to the service station, because they're in the service stations now, and buy like a 6-pack of non-alcoholic beer.
Well, if I was drinking something that I didn't care if it was bad for my waist,
Yeah.
I'd probably I'd drink a can of Coke, I reckon.
Yeah.
Like, how good's Coke? My kids aren't listening because we're trying to steer them away
No
from
soft drinks.
obsessed with Coca-Cola.
Yeah, and look, to be honest, I've tried that non-alcoholic gin and it just makes me want real gin.
So there's a lesson in all this. Don't know what it is. We'll get there. Everybody who's got a job, listen up, because a very important survey has been released.
Oh, here we go.
It's titled, Are You an Annoying Colleague?
Uh-oh.
Here we go. A survey reveals the most loved and loathed workplace behaviours as voted by Aussie workers. Why saying, uh-oh? Do you think you could be a bad part of the statistic?
No, I'm worried.
You're probably a good part, Jodes.
I'm worried that I do one of these things. Go on, hit us.
First one is people will turn up to work sick. No, I think it's brave that you turned up sick.
Do you think it's brave, or would you prefer I go home?
No, I want you to stay here.
Oh, yeah.
So here, we'll start off with this. Almost a third of Australian workers, that's 31%, would rather have a tooth extracted than socialise with a colleague outside of work. Yep. We've all seen a co-worker outside of work and you're like, oh no. What do we do? Where do I hold my hands? What do we talk about?
I know. And also it's bad enough that sometimes you run into awkward people in the kitchen when you're just getting your tuna sandwich or whatever.
Oh, my gosh.
And you've got to make small talk. Imagine making that small talk in a public space.
I know. And I turn up in the kitchen, I'm like, oh, my God, she's making a tuna sandwich again. Gross.
Is that another one of them?
Here's one. Top 5 most annoying behaviours. At number 5,
Yep.
it is invading personal space.
Oh, okay.
Yep, 42% people said that. Number 4 is talking over the top of people. Number 3. Number 3 is being messy.
Yeah,
Gets on my
no,
nerves.
that annoys me.
Number 2 is gossiping.
Oh,
Yep.
that's the best part of work,
Yeah,
isn't
that's-
it?
Well,
What?
depends. When you become the gossiper.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's no good.
annoying, isn't it? The number 1 most annoying behaviour is poor personal hygiene. Everyone's got a co-worker that stinks.
Yeah.
That sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah, that really does. Can I add a couple to the list?
Oh, here we go. This is good solid feedback. What is it, Jodie's diary time, isn't it?
No. Excessive nose blowing in the workplace. Can't have it.
Yep.
Absolutely can't have it. We've got some girls who like to play Taylor Swift very loud in the office late in the day. Can't have that.
Mature age Swifties. Not sure about that.
No, and for me, the number one most annoying thing in the office is people who scratch their nuts all the time.
Well, I'll tell you. Oh, is that me? Oh, sorry, but they're not going to scratch themselves. We know that. I'll leave with this, Joe. It's the top 5 most disliked personality traits.
Okay.
Okay. Number 5, people who lie.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Number 4, people who are rude. Everyone's got a rude co-worker.
Can't abide by rudeness.
Oh, you've just got to try and rise above it, but sometimes it's too much. Number 3, people who are unreliable.
Don't look at me.
Don't look at me.
Don't
Don't look at
side-eye
me.
me.
Don't side-eye me.
Don't.
You're
you
side-eyeing me.
Very dare look at me like that.
Number 2, manipulative. And number 1, colleagues who are lazy.
Oh, yes. Fill the space, Andrew. Fill the space.
There's nothing to know. There's nothing to say here. I think there's a lot to learn from that. There's a lot of information to take out. Does it apply to you? Does it apply to me? Does it apply to other co-workers? Who knows?
Oh, who's to say?
Watch this space, but our eyes are darting all over the place.
This is so spicy. Okay, so a daughter has written a blistering obituary for her late mother and it has gone viral. Ding dong, the witch is dead, wrote Christina Novak in the passing of her mother, Florence Howelson. Novak noted in the obituary that her mother had died on February 22nd, 2024, without family by her side due to burnt bridges and a wake of destruction left in her path.
Ooh, wow. These are not beautiful words from the heart, it would seem.
No, Florence did not want an obituary or anyone, including family, to know she died. That's because even in death, she wanted those she terrorised to still be living in fear, looking over their shoulders. So this isn't so much an obituary, but more of a public service announcement.
That's what it's all about.
She told the Bangor Daily News she even considered listing the ways in which her mother wronged her relatives, but in the end decided against it. She added it was her intention to write a traditional obituary, but found herself leaning towards a more sarcastic approach.
Oh, my very goodness. So I wonder how many people read this obituary and were like, oh, we didn't know that Flo was an absolute cow.
Yeah. Horrible woman. Absolutely hideous woman.
You just sort of wonder. Everyone's got secrets.
Yeah.
Everybody has secrets, and obviously some people's secrets are more intense than others.
Yes. I know of a woman who is a friend of mine whose husband passed away from a medical episode at work.
So very suddenly.
Very, very suddenly.
Right.
So suddenly he didn't have time to delete some incriminating things off his phone that revealed he may or may not have been having a relationship with another woman.
Okay. Yeah, not ideal.
I'm glad you gave that the ba-ba.
Not ideal.
It's not a ding.
No, I'm not sure what else there is, or what do you want? You want that, or we got this? So, I mean, there's a range of sound effects.
That's what he was doing at the time.
Yeah, right.
13, 24, 10. Let's do this. What did you find out after they passed away?
Oh, the stories coming through about people with genuine secret families. It's unbelievable. Or genuine secret children almost as well.
Yes.
I know of a bloke who was at a former football club that I was at, who had a genuine secret family in another city.
What?
And the families didn't know about each other. Isn't that crazy?
Until he died, or is he still alive?
I'm not really sure. When I left, he was still alive, but I'm sure as soon as one of the families finds out,
He would have been.
his life is definitely in danger. But just the stress. Like, how could you possibly? But also, when you're like, hey, I've just got to head off to another city for a week.
Yeah.
I won't be contactable, or is they constantly in contact? That's
Alarm
unbelievable.
bells. 13 24 10. I would love to hear from anyone who found out something juicy or saucy after someone died.
Oh, yeah, this is nice.
I know it's niche. It's okay.
No, it's good.
I know I've already tried this morning to find a baby beryl. I couldn't do that, but I'm fairly certain there'd be some juicy secrets that were kept and were revealed after the person went to the grave.
This is nice. I like this. 13 24 10. What did you find out after they died? We'll take your calls next.
We've just revealed an obituary that's gone viral. Christina wrote of her mother, "Ding dong, the witch is dead." She said she has left behind a family, a wake of burnt bridges and a wake of destruction left in her path.
Mum's a cow.
Mum is a red hot cow, and no one liked her. Okay, the end.
And not a lovely cow like those dairy cows.
No, I like
Aren't they
those
just magnificent.
beautiful jerseys at the show. Not like that. 13 24 10. What did you find out after they died, Tana? Good morning.
Good morning. I feel like that obit would probably be quite therapeutic and perhaps give her a little bit of closure. I think
Totally.
I might need to copy and paste some of that.
Oh, Tana, got mum issues.
So essentially what I found out and my siblings found out was that we were given an inheritance, but it was never actually given to us by my parents. They just decided to keep it and spend it and live their best lives on it, unbeknownst to us.
Whoa. Okay, so how many siblings have you got?
So I only have two, but the money was shared out between us three and a cousin. And at the time, it was a relatively, I'll say a small amount these days, it's huge. It would be like, it was 77, but that was like 15 to 18 years ago.
Yeah.
So we worked out the interest, and what we should have gotten if they'd done the right thing and kept it all together in an account, we would have each been given $450,000 per person.
Whoa. Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was actually quite soul-crushing, and just between you, me, and the rest of the nation, it did result in essentially a no contact with me and my parents. To be fair, there is a long laundry list of terrible things that they have done, but this was essentially the straw that broke the proverbial camel's back for us, and that was it. Haven't spoken to them since.
So they're still around?
Yeah, they're still around. We found out because somebody else in the family had died, and they contacted us because obviously there was a death in the family. And they were like, oh, hey, how'd you go with great aunt? She left you all that money. It must have set you guys up really well. And we were like, what? And they're like, yeah, so it was a sizable amount of money. And we're like, we have no idea what you're talking about. We actually, probably TMI, but we actually had to get a lawyer because Mum wouldn't give the money up. And so we had to subpoena her bank records to find out how much, where she was keeping it. And in the end, we don't actually know if we got it all.
Wow.
But we just took what we could and we just washed our hands of it and went our separate ways.
I'm so sorry, Tana. I didn't realise. So your parents spent your auntie's inheritance that was supposed to go to you.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So she was a lovely lady, and she left a bunch of it to charity, like for dogs and cats and vets and some hospitals. And she felt that my parents and his brother and sister had basically lived their lives. They're like, we want this money to set somebody up to look after people, and this is a good step in the right direction for your children. So she changed her will, and my parents essentially didn't agree with that. They felt that we didn't deserve it, we would be frivolous with it, we would waste it, and they thought they were doing the right thing by keeping it for us.
Oh, that's so nice of them. I
that
hope
is
they had a lovely
unbelievable.
cruise around, France or something. Oh, Tana, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's horrible.
There you go. We have an anonymous lawyer on the line right now.
Yes.
Who, for obvious reasons, was like, do not say my name.
No.
Because lawyers in a situation where you got to sort out assets, etc., maybe uncover some really heavy truths.
Yeah.
They hear some stuff.
Yeah. So we say good morning to our anonymous lawyer. Hello.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, thank you. Okay, you would see some stuff.
I do. Wills and estates sounds really boring, but it's really interesting and juicy.
Juicy, that's the key word,
So
juicy.
saucy. Oh, tell us what you've seen.
So I have had a client recently who's had a parent pass away.
Yep.
They've come in to see me. They've given me the will, and I can see it says I leave my estate to my children. I've asked my client how many are there. They've said it's just us. And as we have progressed through that, someone else has cropped up and said, well, I'm also a child. And it's sort of all come out in the wash that mum had an affair, and as a result of that, had become pregnant and had another child that had been given up for adoption.
Whoa! Yes! Love child.
So what was the reaction?
Well, it was interesting. I had to obviously say to my client, hi, did you know that there was another one of you? Which they said that they didn't. And they were aware of the existence of this person, but the story that they had always been told was that they were a friend.
Right.
Oh, okay. So there was so this person was someone who the family knew. They just didn't know how well they knew them.
Right.
Oh my.
Not very well. To my understanding, it was sort of in passing, but they were aware of the existence of this person, but obviously not to the extent that they actually were.
Real. Oh, look
involved.
at here. It's Deirdre Chambers situation.
Deirdre Chambers.
What a coincidence.
What about you like, hey, that's our friend. People say we look alike. That's so silly.
Oh, thank you so much for your call. We really appreciate it.